Here's a story you might not have seen before because big tech censored it. Twitter censored an article from the New York Post about Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden. And when I say censor, I mean censor. I'm not talking about deprioritizing or restricting reach or even shadow banning. I'm talking about Chinese Communist Party-style 1984 Orwellian censorship. Silencing. You are not allowed to say it. The article itself is titled, and I quote, "Smoking Gun Email Reveals How Hunter Biden Introduced Ukrainian Businessman to VP Dad," end quote. The article claims Joe Biden lied when he denied knowing about his son, Hunter Biden's shady business deals with the Ukraine while Joe was vice president. Because, according to emails the Post obtained, an email from a Burisma advisor thanked Hunter for introducing him to Hunter's dad, Joe Biden, while Joe was vice president. So that, in and of itself, is a story. But even bigger is the fact that Twitter won't let you share the link to the article. If you try to post it, they simply don't let you tweet your tweet. And if you do tweet it, they will lock you out of your account. Twitter locked the New York Post's Twitter account, and then Twitter locked press secretary Kayleigh McEnany out of her account for posting the link. Think about this. The New York Post is one of the most widely circulated newspapers in the nation. They publish an article detailing what appears to be corruption, or at the very least a lie, from the presidential nominee of the Democratic Party. And if people try to share this story 3 weeks before the presidential election, Twitter forbids it. This is their excuse. They say, it's been identified by our partners as being potentially harmful. So first of all, who are Twitter's partners in this little censorship endeavor? And what is false exactly about this story? Even if it were false, hypothetically, is that Twitter's job to disallow you from saying something they believe is false? Also, what is the definition of potentially harmful? Harmful to whom? To Biden? Now, Twitter also claimed that the censorship was due to the Hunter Biden emails being leaked without permission. But if this censorship was actually due to the email being leaked in some unauthorized way, why doesn't that standard apply to the New York Times Trump tax returns report? And can we talk about actual fake news and harmful disinformation? Just to name a few. The false allegations of Trump-Russia collusion, the debunked Christopher Steele dossier, the absurd and false and horrifying accusations against Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, Chinese Communist Party propaganda, the 1619 Project, Iranian leaders threatening to wipe Israel off the face of the earth, hideous accusations that Amy Coney Barrett stole her 2 adopted children from Haiti. Where was Twitter's censorship of that fake news? But no, Twitter allowed all of that on their platform. In fact, it wasn't just Twitter. Facebook is also censoring the New York Post article. Just so we understand how serious this is, I've told you about the gross censorship that I face on Facebook. When so-called fact-checkers mark my content as fake news, when it is not fake news. And then they use that fact-check to punish my page and stifle distribution of my content. This happened to me in the past month. It's happening to pro-life organization Live Action right now. Big tech is essentially using left-leaning organizations who claim to fact-check as a kangaroo court to silence anybody who disagrees with their radical leftist ideology. This is a big deal. And no, the answer is not a government takeover of big tech. First of all, when has government solved a private sector problem better than the private sector itself? Second of all, why would anybody, but especially conservatives, why would anybody want to give government more power over our lives? Especially when we know that at some point, hopefully not 3 weeks from now, but at some point, liberals probably will be in charge of our government again. Why would we give liberal politicians the power over what we post, what we say on social media? No. The solution here is to target Section 230 protections. Section 230 protects big tech companies from liability for what's posted on their platforms. Because these social networks are supposed to be platforms, not publishers. That's a very important distinction. A platform allows users to post whatever they want. The platform just provides the website to tweet, or to upload a video, or to post an article. Compare that to a publisher who dictates editorial standards, telling people what they can or cannot say, what narratives are appropriate or inappropriate, similar to how a news website has an editor that gives a thumbs up or a thumbs down on story ideas. Now, under federal law, publishers do not have the liability protection that platforms do. But right now, Big tech is protected by Section 230, so they face no threat of accountability for the content on their platform, but they're also enforcing strict editorial standards like a publisher. They can't have it both ways. There can be no doubt in anybody's mind that big tech is deliberately censoring conservatives. It's blatant. It's discriminatory. It's interfering with the presidential election just weeks before people cast their ballots. It's time for conservatives to say enough and force Congress to reform Section 230 so big tech is forced to stop their censorship or else face liability for viewpoint discrimination.